Alright, everyone. So we'll just go over the ES, keep it simple. On the right hand side, I have a 5-minute. On the middle, I have a tape reading chart. On the left hand side, I have a higher time frame or higher box size tape reading chart. So there was some trades that set up today, and I'll just go over them. So basically, what happened here was the ES puked right here. Why is it not showing? So ES puked here, right? So this seemed like fairly easy trade because as you can clearly see, it's a base and a breakdown. So the idea here is, just to sell the pullback. That's really it. This base, so there's some distributive action here and a break. And then when it comes up here, sell the pullback. But unfortunately, the damn thing didn't fall through and had plans to go higher. So there's nothing you can do about this. It just happens. As you can see over here, you had the selling wave and then went up and volume started picking up. And then here was the really nice short entry against this area. So with this, it looks like a doji. But the idea was this was the place to sell. Why? Because this is where the breakdown occurred here. The breakdown occurred and retested. So this was the place to sell. And when it went down in heavy volume, as you can see here. Right? It's very heavy volume. Relatively speaking, the biggest wave since the morning. Over here 59K up and 70,000 down, so I thought it was going to break through, especially after this bar. But I think it was because of Apple or some other damn stock that the market continued higher. So I mean, if you get in here, if you're really nice in the way you trade, you can get either a small loss or break even. Like if you catch it, you could do a break even, but it's not that easy, but it's possible. So after that, this was all the sellers. So when they ran it, the shorts had to cover. And that's why this volume increases, because all the shorts are selling against this area for sure. All right, you have strong selling wave 1, 2, 3 tap and big red bar, a little bit of follow through, and they forced them to cover. And again, tricking the market, tricking participants again. This here was offering the upthrust of this area, but unfortunately, upthrust did not work. Probably was too much buying in the background. So I mean, if it's not gonna work, it's just not gonna work. There's nothing to do, right? And what else happened? Then the next trade was up here, shortening of the thrust. So as I explained before, shortening of the thrust means absolutely nothing unless it is accompanied by heavy selling pressure. I mean, really heavy selling pressure. If you want to know what type of selling pressure, I mean, take a look at the daily. All right, see how the market had topped out on July 31st. What was the indication of the topping out? It was shortening of the thrust. That's how the market topped out on July 31st. And it's funny, like the pullback in crude also came from shortening of the thrust. So and I've mentioned it many times, how trends end. Like for Wyckoff traders, I mean, we already know how they end. It's like again and again and again, you see it, how they end. But you have to be able to execute, and Anyway, so over here, shortening of thrust, pull back here, cracked the low, came up. I was not too confident about this shortening of thrust, and the reason is real simple. It just didn't have enough selling pressure. So I mean, I'm not going to sell. I'm not going to sell unless I have a lot of selling pressure. Why? Because it's just going to retest or spring and go higher. But in this case, it worked. And look what happened. So this worked for whoever sold the shorting of the thrust fall by that lower low, and test. But for me, I need that lower low, but I need big volume, and this volume is just not going to cut it for me in terms of sell, because it can go into spring position and blast off, especially after it took out this distribution area. So after that, it went into this area, and you have heavy selling. Now make no mistake, this area is distributive. As you can see, all of this stuff here, it's all distributive action. Why? Because the highs have 43 plus 34,000, 43, etc., and a break. So this is all trapped. This is all distributive volume on this high. And now we're going to test it. And when it tests, it should offer the opportunity, maybe it already did, all right? Or it'll go higher in this area, about 45.10. So we'll see where it goes and all that, but the idea here is very simple. There were two trades. One was, going long. If you were able to execute, meaning you saw the high volume here and saw the 4 and the 10, and if your perspective was bullish, mine wasn't, but here 22 for only 4,000 down, only 10,000 down, followed by 59 up, offering the pullback entry for this long, or the short side trade, which was right here, which is shorting the thrust. So there was like basically two opportunities, and the key here was not to get screwed by like if you did get short, you gotta exit, and to pay attention to these volumes, because the indication that we're going higher is this high volume followed by only 4,000 and 10,000, and of course the Nasdaq went crazy over here, probably because of Apple. All right, that's all, folks. Take care. Bye.